One thing that we're trying to accomplish with editing our PLR videos is to make them different than they were when we first purchased them, by changing stuff or adding related content or even removing content, as long as doing so will not ruin the video in the process. Now in this video, we're going to be looking at adding images and callouts. As you might notice, I've changed the intro and outro images, and I did that just to give it a little more pizzazz and hopefully in the process give you more ideas on repurposing your ebooks and your PLR videos. Now, the callout tool in Camtasia Studio is a great way to add emphasis or highlight items within the video. Now, sometimes the video might already have some callouts, which you can simply replace with a different looking callout. Now, how you do this greatly depends on the format of the video that you're editing. In other words, if you only have an MP4 or an AVI, then you're going to be limited to some degree in how you can edit this, versus if you had the actual CamProj file with all the different elements scattered throughout the timeline. In most cases, all you're going to have is an MP4, or as in this example, an AVI file that has all those elements that were originally on different timelines, all scrunched down into the one format, into the one video. For example, as I scrub through this, there's a call out, but it's part of the actual video. It's not on its own timeline, which is the case whenever you are creating the video in a CamProj format. So in something like this, if we're going to be replacing this, then instead of simply clicking on this as if this were a CamProj file where we would have the different elements on the different timelines, all you'd have to do then is simply click on that element, come on up here to callouts, and simply replace it. But in this case, we need to cover it up with a new callout. For example, we want to find out where this callout begins, and let's go ahead and increase this a little bit. Okay, so there it's totally gone. Right there it starts to begin. So let's go ahead and make a note here. I'm just going to go ahead and slice the video right there just as a marker. Of course, you could always hit the letter M as in marker to put a marker there as well. And then come on over here to the very end of where that call out is being shown. Transition out, and it's gone. So somewhere right in there. And again, I'm going to mark that. This time I'll just hit the letter M just to demonstrate. You have other ways in which you can mark these. So somewhere in here, we're going to cover up that call out. And let's say I want to cover it up with, let's say this. There. And maybe we want to change the fill color of that and use a different color text. And that gives you an idea anyway on what I'm talking about. Now, if we were to actually listen to this, the video is actually referring to dot files or hidden files. So if we were to maybe add to this by adding another call out, say up here, and you can do a search on your favorite search engine to find more information about different hidden files that could be referenced in this particular part of the video. For example, I did a search on Google for hidden files and came up with several of them. One being whatever the heck this is, .gemrc, and maybe another one. Actually, I found about 4 or 5 different ones, and there was a bunch of them, but none of which made any sense to me, so they might to you. But all I'm doing is clicking on add callout, and let's do another one here, and one more. Now we changed the entire look of everything on this page just by simply covering up the original callout and adding several other callouts. Now we can adjust these as well by moving them on the timeline to adjust whenever they actually show up on the video. How long do we want them to be on the video? Let's go ahead and end them all about the same time. And of course, we want to listen to the video to make sure that it's still making sense that they're on the video screen for this long. So let's go ahead and listen to it.
But more importantly, they're hidden from all the web browsers and those people that would want to do harm to your websites. And those people that would...
Okay, so right about in here, there's this image that shows up, so we don't want these callouts to be in the way of that. So let's go ahead and move these out of the way. But they're on there long enough to give the viewer an idea of what we're talking about. And this image here can also be covered up. We're talking about hackers at this point, so maybe we have other images that we can replace or cover this up with or add to it, just like we did with these callouts. Like for example, here's an image. Okay, let's go ahead and put that back here and time it in just a little better. And you see how it's kind of crooked there? You do that by these little handles in the middle of the image, if you want to. And we can add a transition to that. Say we want it to fade out at the end, and you can adjust the length of that fading process, and maybe you want it to ripple to come into the video. Let's go ahead and play this.
From all the web browsers and those people that would want to do harm to your websites, the hackers. But
just like that. Maybe we want this guy to get out of here about the same time as the other one. There you go. So in adding images or callouts, just as you're going through the video listening to it, you're going to come across different ideas as to what might work as an added image, just something to change the look of it from its original setting. Heck, even changing this image out here would work as well. In doing this though, you're going to be covering up all the callouts and all the images that are embedded in this video. So you want to have something to replace those if you still want to have those on your video. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If we were to do a search online, let's say go to a site like freeimages.com and do a search for landscape, which I've already done here, you'd have to be logged in. This is a free site, by the way, but you do have to sign up and log in to be able to download one of these. Let me show you one that I've already downloaded. Come on back to my clip bin here, and I'm just going to left click, hold, and drag this from one monitor over to here. And let's come on back to the very beginning of the video, because I want to cover this entire thing up right here. So let's put the playhead at the beginning. Right click, add timeline at playhead. Since I have this fade in here, what I can do is just go ahead and delete that and add the transition to the image. See how this will look. It's not perfect, but it's doable. Now the thing is, whenever I add this image to the timeline here, I'm unable to add it beyond this first call out. Well, that's not going to work for me, so I have to bring it all the way up here to the top to its own track so that it's not interfering with these other ones. But here's the problem. It's covering up everything. Let me go ahead and turn this marker off here, because as I scrub through this, you can see all I'm seeing is that new image. Well, let me show you how to get around that real quick. First off, let me get this to where I want it at, because I want this entire image to be covered up. Go until it ends, which is right about in here. Add the fade out. There we go. That looks good. Now then, with that image selected, what I want to do is I want to move this image on the timeline down here to the bottom so that it's not covering up any of these. These will actually be showing on top of this brand new image. So with that image selected, come on up here to the preview window, then right click, send backward, and just keep on doing that until you get it to where you want. See, as these guys are showing up here as I move the playhead back. Now if you were to click on send to back, then it's going to go all the way to the very bottom. You don't want that. You want the video to be on top of it. Just play around with this until you get it to where you want. There we go. Now we lost the one hacker image that was up here, so I'd want to replace that with another one if I wanted to, or I could just take this guy and center him right in the middle and have this one replace the other one. That way it's totally different from the original. There you go. Now that's a great example of how using callouts and stock images can change the overall look of the video, and in doing so, make it totally unrecognizable from the original. That's going to bring us to the end of this video on replacing or adding callouts and stock images to edit or increase the content value of the video. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day.